So today I'm joined by none other than Robert Stromberg, the well-noted production designer on Avatar, Alice in Wonderland, Oz the Great and Powerful, and now with his directing debut on Disney's Maleficent in 2014. Hi, Robert.
How are you?
Thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
You have one of the most unique career paths I've ever seen in Hollywood. Going from special effects, you started in special effects, to production design, and then directing. Was that your master plan all along, to end up in directing?
No, it's I'm as baffled as you are, really. My eyes really show that path, but no, when I started, I just came to Hollywood as with the idea of doing something creative, and way back then that meant getting into special effects, and I used to do what were called matte paintings, which were making environments painted, photoreal painting and all that stuff. And I thought that's about as high as you can go, and started doing that, and they actually paid me money for that, and that was great. And that sort of led into meeting people, it led into visual effects supervising. And then all of a sudden I was traveling around and I was a visual effects supervisor, and that somehow led, actually I'll tell you how, I was a visual effects supervisor on a film called Master and Commander directed by Peter Weir, and we became such great friends, and he said, you know what, you're not really doing that anymore, you're doing so much designing as well, and so we sort of made up this thing called visual effects designer, and that led to meeting Jim Cameron and then becoming a production designer.
Well, yeah, your first gig, the Oscar. That's amazing.
Well, I was one of the most shocked people in the room. That project was 4.5 years of my life, and when I first met Jim, we started at zero, so there wasn't. It was a complete journey, from the first alien plant that was designed to winning the Oscar. There was 4.5 years in between, and it was certainly a journey that I won't soon forget.
Well, they're starting to leak more and more special effects reels online for the general public to see, and it's becoming really clear that live-action film sets are almost entirely digital. How is that changing the job of production design?
I think today's production designers, they have to adapt, and you still have the traditional set of skills that you have to deal with, building physical things with set designers and illustrators and craftsmen that do those things. But you also have to have your other eye on the budget, which sometimes means knowing how much to build, or how much later will become digital. So then that means that you now have to have another knowledge, and that is the knowledge of set extension and visual effects. And I think it's sort of, we've evolved into a place where it's just another set of tools that you need to have as a production designer. I don't think it changes anything else, though.
Would you say that transition in the way films are made is what enabled you to make the jump, or you think you would have made the jump anyway?
No, absolutely. It's why, because what happens is that you're not only designing physical sets, but you're designing 3D digital sets. So you're still designing no matter what medium you're using. So it came along at the right time where we were creating these vast digital sets, and that really sort of fell into the criteria of production designing. And it's sort of a new thing, and there's a lot of talk about that, but I think the bottom line is that it's not going away, so we all have to, as designers, just understand more information than we used to.
Speaking of vision and design, when you have a digital design, you can do anything, literally. Is that very freeing, or is it like you have to push stuff out?
Well, I've been very lucky because the wallets are pretty thick, but not everybody has that opportunity. These things all come at a cost, and so you can spend a lot of money. These things are very expensive, and so it's really to everybody's advantage that you don't approach it as a place to experiment. You have to approach it as a solid plan and follow through, and just for financial reasons.
So you've had 3 tremendously successful jobs as a production designer, where the films were very visually heavy. And that was a big component. So how did you move into directing? How did you make that leap?
Well, over the years, you've been around so many directors and made so many friends who are directors and producers, and it's like wine. It sort of perfects over time, and it's those people that you meet and cultivate a relationship with, and get the trust that you need to take that leap. The directing is, for me, it's been actually fairly natural because I always look at things as this sort of great canvas, and I always feel like things are related, like a composition in a piece of art or music or dialogue. It's all a rhythm, and it's an understanding of those rhythms that make you able to direct.
Any surprises sitting in the director's chair that you didn't anticipate?
Oh, plenty, but not for this discussion.
Okay, all right. We'll let you save those for when Maleficent comes out.
No. It's at the end of the day, you're in charge of a very big ship, and there are icebergs.
Well, also, Sleeping Beauty, the original Disney Sleeping Beauty, was very stylized. On the work with Ivan Earl.
Yeah.
Can you talk about if you built on that at all? Did you incorporate that all into the look?
I can't really talk about it, but I obviously was a big fan of Ivan Earl. I actually have some original illustrations, and I think what we've tried to do is, throughout this process, balance things with not only something that people will give a hint of those things, but not overpower the film that we're trying to make.
And also, Maleficent, you're new to directing, but also you have a lot of people coming over from animation. Linda Wolverton, who wrote Beauty and the Beast. Paul Dini's making his live-action debut, and your producer, Don Hahn, is a huge Disney legend in producing.
Yeah.
So when you think of all the coming from that animation world and you're from the digital world, how do you think, what kind of effect is that having on live-action filmmaking for you guys?
Well, we're very much making a live-action film. I think with those elements and those people involved, you automatically bring in elements that feel more like those sort of classic animated fairy tales and things. So you bring in a pool of ideas and people of experience, and you sort through that. And what you hope for at the end of the day is that you have something that the Disney fans will respect and enjoy.
And the last thing I wanted to ask you is that there's a big conversation right now about how the special effects community is being treated by the studios. And someone even suggested, well, why isn't a special effects supervisor, why doesn't their name go in the opening credit sequence as well, along with, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think more and more you do see visual effects supervisors in the credits. I know on most of the top visual effects films, they are usually in the front credits. But the things that we were talking about before, I feel that visual effects need to I think get more credit for the amount of entertainment value in that. I think that visual effects have actually become essentially a character in the movie,
I like that.
and should be treated as importantly as that. So I, coming biasly from visual effects, support my friends that do that, and but I do honestly believe that they do figure into the box office. They do figure into why people want to see films. So they have to be taken seriously.